Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you knew we would return. My name is Joe.
And I'm Carolyn.
And this is the Carolyn and Joe Show. My name is Joe Carabin. I'm a filmmaker, photographer, writer. Definitely today I am a podcaster extraordinaire. Wonderful. Across from me in their soundproof booth of sanity, of insanity.
I was gonna say
creative insanity. Her name is Carolyn Belevsky. How you doing, Carolyn?
I'm good.
So you guys. That's what everyone says at the beginning of any one of their videos. Hi guys, how's it going?
Guys.
Hey everybody. But everyone knows this by now. It is Podcember. The Carolyn and Joe Show have created something that we are very, very, face, head, waist deep in, called Podcember. 31 days of podcasting. Every single day of December, we are doing a podcast. And we're also doing a live stream of it the night before, and then we're going to release it. Today's episode is for December.
11th.
What day is it? December 11th. December 11th. Today's episode is December 11th.
We're already 1/3 done.
And we already have a question. We already got a question from the Facebook live stream.
Throw it at us.
From Philip. Philip Stamper asks, why is the sky black? Why is the sky black?
Because it's nighttime.
Should we dig deep in asking why is the sky black? Because the sun,
outer space.
Because the sun is not hitting this side, right?
Yeah.
Because
sun's on the other side of the earth, right?
Because
now.
from what I've heard, I'm not a flat Earth believer. I don't even actually know what that means. I haven't dug deep into that. But when
that's like the people that believe the Earth is flat.
Yeah, I guess so.
There are people that actually believe that. I have heard. I've heard a story of people that believe that.
But just so people know, the Earth rotates around the sun, and while it's doing that, the Earth is also spinning. So whenever whatever side you're on, it takes a certain amount of hours
mm-hmm.
to spin. So at certain hours of the day, it is facing the sun, and on other hours of the day or night, like they call it, we are away from the sun, but we're also facing the moon, coinciding with the darkness, and we see the moon.
But the moon also is lit up, technically. So it's kind of like its own sun. What about that?
Yeah, I mean, the sun is hot. The sun is a star.
But how come the moon is lit up?
Because it's being lit by the sun.
Really?
Yeah.
But if they're on the other side, I mean, I guess I knew that, but aren't they?
That's why the moon is bright.
But so that's really the sun.
That's the light
I
of the sun.
I knew that. I sound stupid.
That's the light of the sun hitting the moon. That's why it's lit up.
What?
And also it's rotating too, so that's why you only see a percentage of it every single day.
So basically everything's in rotation.
Everything's in rotation. And so with that,
life is rotation.
And thus, when the sky is being hit by the sunlight from the sun, from the light from our sun, because of the atmosphere, it turns blue because it's being lit up. But when it's not being blue,
why isn't it like other colors?
I have no clue. It could be other colors because of pollution, but I think that's just the atmospheric choices. Sort of like water, but when you see a lot of water, it turns to a darker shade, I guess, and then just essentially just turns black. I think the sky is sort of like that too. When you have atmosphere pile on top of each other, then it turns, because it starts out being clear, but then when you see a whole bunch of it, it turns into a dense color, which is blue.
Who do you think you are, Neil deGrasse Tyson?
I don't know.
I mean, come on, man.
I'm not even sure if any of this is true.
Star Talk, guys.
I'm not even sure if any of this is true. But then, of course, when the sun is not hitting the sky, it turns black, and then we can see stars.
But why is it black? Like, why that particular color?
Because that black is
no color.
Black is the absence of light.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. Darkness.
It's
black,
but it's actually no color.
It's
right?
actually black. We may see it's black, but it's actually just not colored. It's just no light is hitting it. So it could be black, but it's really just a void.
Color theory: white actually is a color, but black is not a color.
Yes, or it could be.
But no colors. But don't you need all colors to make black?
Do you?
Yeah, like in painting.
Like
if you mix all the colors, it's kind of like black.
That's true.
Or muddy.
Yeah. So
But then if you mix all the colors, it's never white.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's up with that?
It's the absence. White is the absence of color. It's the
But
opposite of physics.
I thought that black was no color, but now it's white.
That's when we're talking about physics.
What?
I guess that's when we talk about that's what physics or whatever the exposure of light in real time, not color theory, not the creation, but the subtraction. I guess. Well, there you go, Philip. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. If it doesn't, then contact Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. So for the past few days during my rendering time, I've been spending, I wouldn't say an abysmal amount of time, but there's always some good times where I feel like watching interviews on Jimmy Fallon or something like that. And I've been watching, what that led to was me watching a lot of who I thought you pronounce her name Gal Gadot, but she says it's Gal Gadot.
I think I like Gal better.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
She's more Dutt to it, more Sanjay Dutt to it at the end. And I gotta say, because there's always this big comparison between the Marvel and DC, the movies and stuff like that. And I would like to reiterate the fact of, Marvel is a success and all. A lot of people, you literally can't. They're bulletproof at this point. You can't even say anything bad about it. But they don't have a Gal Gadot. They don't have a Gal Gadot. They don't have a Wonder Woman. And I feel like, to me, I was doing on the new release Wednesday. They're like, so what's your critique on, or what do you think? What are you expecting out of Justice League? My thing was I don't really care much about how this movie's going to play out, but the fact of I just want to see Wonder Woman is really important. You just literally she's so amazing on screen that her presence alone that's a big draw. I don't think there's anything on the Marvel movies that has I want to see this I just want to see this character because it's so amazing. Nothing like that that's connected
but what
so
about
so
the
fresh.
Black Widow?
I don't care. That's not. I don't.
That's ScarJo, man.
Yeah, but that's no. She doesn't have the presence and the.
What about the Olsen girl?
No, and that not even doesn't even touch the presence and the bliss and this harmony that Gal Gadot gives.
Would you feel horrible if you were those two actresses? You can't live up to the Wonder Woman.
I mean, you got to say that her presence alone, and also
and she's a newcomer.
She is a newcomer.
Well, I guess she was in Fast and Furious.
She's not a name. Now she's a name.
Well, now she is. Yeah, but she was in Fast and Furious. But I hadn't really even known that.
Yeah, but she wasn't holding Fast and she wasn't the star of that. I mean, also taking the sense today I was watching Gal. I was watching Gal's stories on Instagram because basically they got a whole bunch of the top stars are Henry Cavill and Gal. I don't know. Just so many names.
Or whatever, Superman.
Yeah, they both had it's on the top of Ace Comic-Con was just Wonder Woman and Superman, Gal Gadot and Henry, and I was watching Gal's Instagram, and it's seeing people's reactions is amazing because it's she represents something.
Do you think that it's ScarJo to me represents modern Hollywood? Do you think that,
or maybe she used to?
I mean, I still feel like she does.
I mean, I feel like ScarJo in a way. She's not on the outs, but now she's a veteran of the game. She's now but
what's her big hit?
What is her big hit?
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think she has something. I mean, she has cool movies. I liked Lucy. I actually really like her a lot. I think she's great. But I'm just saying, it's kind of sad how
you're just watching Ghost World.
She is an A-lister. I would consider her a modern day A-lister. But then it's kind of sad that she doesn't have this huge breakout character that people really actually know her by.
I mean, she does have Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch. She does have Black Widow. She's Black Widow. I'm trying to think of what else does Scarlett Johansson have.
I don't know if you saw this, but online I saw people posting the party set for I guess Avengers party set.
Yeah, from Age of Ultron.
I don't remember, but it was
the
like
party set.
Yeah, like like when kids have like birthday parties and they have like matching plates and and like drinking cups and stuff and napkins and all that and like decorations. Well, apparently they had like all the other Avengers, but they didn't have the females.
Yeah, they just cut out because no one wants to buy.
I think that's stupid. Like whoever made that creative decision, that obviously was a decision. It was like, okay, include these characters, but not these ones.
And I think I heard or read somewhere that the idea was pretty much, boys just don't want to buy.
I think that's bullshit.
Superhero girl stuff. It is. Because that's leaving money on the table for me.
I actually disagree with that because I bet there's some boys out there that are just like, oh, I love Wonder Woman now. I love that movie and like she's
Which
cool.
is why that movie is a success.
Meanwhile, like they were like pushing out like Black Widow and Scarlet Witch. Like it's almost like, oh, all the boys are there but not you guys. You're still like out of the clubhouse. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like they've kind of learned their lesson since. Because that was kind of highly publicized how like their toys weren't as promoted too, I think. Yeah. Stupid.
But like I feel like that's where DC in a way they had the one up of the big variable was will Wonder Woman be a success? Because like a lot of people, even in the first Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman was the thing people were talking about the most out of that. Because in a way, even though the world has had Wonder Woman for a long time, her movie and her presence like are still really fresh. And it's still iconic at the same time. I
still think of the Linda Carter one, too.
And I don't really connect with that because I never watched that one.
I think that was like a different generation, but that still is very prominent out there.
But like I was watching the interviews with Gal Gadot, and I'm like, and I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing her appearance at the Ace Comic-Con, and her like because whoever's in charge of her social media is like taking stories of whenever people meet her, like the cool costumes and the girls, and so it actually is really awesome to see all these girls and people who are like in awe of her and inspired by her because she really does encompass like the spirit of what the Wonder Woman should stand for. You know what I mean?
Good.
And I feel like there is nothing really on the Marvel side that can stand up to that.
Well, do you think it's also the character? Because in terms of thinking about, I'm not as well versed in comic book superheroes as you are, but
I'm not even well versed in comics at all. So
but
that even
for
that's
example,
less.
Like Black Widow. Like
she's not a main character.
I just don't think about her. I didn't even know who Scarlet Witch was until the movie.
I mean, what Marvel character do they have that's equivalent to a female strong power like Wonder Woman? They don't.
Power Girl?
No, that's DC.
Oh, so then that's lacking.
If people are like, oh, the She-Hulk or Miss Fantastic, that's not even.
That's like pushing it. You know what I mean? It's not like
they didn't have anything.
But Wonder Woman is like right up there. She's right at the top.
Yeah, she is She's part of the Trinity. She's part of that. Trinity.
I guess there is also Black Canary. For a while, I was like super into Black Canary, but I don't think mainstream she's like at that level yet.
No, I mean she could still be a villain too. She's part of the DC Rogues. The Batman Rogue Gallery. Mm-hmm. But like Wonder Woman, that's...
I'm just naming like female characters. I think no one holds a candle to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so when I was giving my critique where people are like, oh, so what are you looking forward to in the new Justice League? I was just like, I'm looking forward to like hopefully just wanting to enjoy these characters more. And I'm just like, but watch out for Gal Gadot because like that's a rocket that's like blasted off right now, man. That's not gonna stop.
Now I wonder about her career though, just trying to like prophesize is like, of course she's gonna ride this Wonder Woman as far as possible.
I mean, her on SNL was pretty enjoyable, her accent's fun. Yeah.
I think a lot of people really connect with her because she has a charm. She's very charming. Yeah. And a lot of people really like her just as a person.
But then she also can do a serious side too, which is also really cool.
I think she's also, in some of the interviews I've seen, she's kind of chill. Like, she doesn't make it seem like she's on camera. You know, sometimes you see, like, some Hollywood starlets and they're, like, playing with their hair or they're, like, making sure, like, when they first sit down that, like, everything is all, like, primped.
Yeah. She's very loose.
She's very
not loose, but she's very casual.
No, yeah, she's very just, like, sit down. I mean, of course she still looks good and had her makeup professionally done and all that. Yeah. So, of course, you're going to be on the, if you're going to be on TV like that, of course you're going to have all that done. I'm not saying that she's like chilling like at home or something. But like there's some people like they know that the camera's on them and they know that they have to give the correct answer and everything has to be perfect and all that. But with her, it seems like, of course, there's all that obvious media training stuff that she probably had to go through as well. But there is an element to her personality that seems like she's more laid back.
I mean, I feel like, because it's amazing that like,
and it's refreshing to see that, because so many other Hollywood actresses, you're getting like canned responses.
Yeah. I mean, she already in her lifetime, she's already been through a lot. I mean, she served in the Israeli army. She was a model, you know. About
the Israeli army thing, like I mentioned that to somebody at work, and then they made a big deal about it, like how, I guess, and I haven't done my research to double check on this, but he was like, well, you know, I guess it doesn't matter as much, because I made a big deal about like, whoa, she served in her like country's army, and then he was like, well, everyone there has to.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the service of the country.
But it's not like in America, like it's not like every woman has to serve in our military, you know? So like for me, when I first heard that, I was like, oh man, damn, that's crazy. But then I guess it's like, well, I'm not trying to dismiss what she did, but it is one of those things where I guess I found out that it's like, well, they all do.
Yeah, but in comparison, we all do, but like not everyone in the whole world does.
But she had to.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And then she did it proudly, and she did really well.
That's good.
So I mean, there could have been, you know, we could always try to discredit that, you know, of going. I mean, like,
that's what
it's like, well, she didn't choose to do that; she had to do it, but then she still did it, and she still accomplished it. And
it's like, well,
and then in between that, then while she was doing that, while serving her time, or while devoting her time to that, then she got called to be a model for, I forget what it is, like Miss Israeli or something like that, and won that.
Oh, a beauty contestant?
Yeah, and then won the beauty contestant at the same time. And then I remember she was telling the story about that, how like she didn't even like care. She's like, just as a joke, she's like, fine, I'll do it, whatever. She didn't really know like the real process of it all. Mm-hmm. So like she almost like Office spaced it. She's like, I don't care. I guess I'll just do what I want to do. And then she won.
That's cool.
And then during that whole process, she didn't really like care much about doing like all like the beauty pageant stuff or like show up to all these things. So she didn't really like. She didn't really like, whatever, defend her crown or anything like that.
Well, you know what else is really cool about her, too, is that she was, like, pregnant during some of the scenes of Wonder Woman. Like, I find that really cool.
During Justice League, yeah.
Or what? Oh, was it Justice League?
Yeah. During the reshoots of Justice League. Okay.
Because I just find that pretty cool, because, I mean, she can be a hero to so many people.
And that's the thing, too. She also represents that. She has 2 kids, you know, so she can connect with the moms and she can connect with the girls, because she has that it is almost like a fierce motherly thing that she has, which is amazing, you know?
Yeah. I feel like she does connect with a whole bunch of fresh faces that normally wouldn't. Because Hollywood is so... whatever, Hollywood, you know?
Yeah. And she's so outside of that,
that's
too.
What I'm
saying. Feel like she's still outside of it.
I feel like that's part of her appeal as well. But I am concerned about, like, I guess, like, her career. It's like, sometimes when you're, like, always that curse of Superman, let's say, for example, like, all of those actors are mostly known for just being Superman, and that's almost all they can do because of that casting.
But also, I feel like in this day and age, maybe back in the day, it's like, oh, you were Superman, now it can't get casted in anything, and like you just gotta wait till the next Superman. But it probably wasn't as profitable to be like Superman back then, you know, because it wasn't like you weren't cashing in as much money.
Well, what else has Henry Cavill been doing? Because I don't know his career. Like, I don't know what he's been doing.
Actually, I feel like
what has Tom Welling been doing?
Tom Welling went to be an executive producer on Wildcats, and then he was doing. I think he was doing other shows, but they're. You know, I think what he did was
behind the scenes.
He never really stepped in front of the limelight like he did. I mean, he served 10 years. You know what I mean? That's a lot of time to be like, okay, maybe...
like a prison sentence. I served 10 years.
Did 10 years of Smallville. That's a lot of time to be working constantly. Well, so I feel like you want something different after that.
What about Henry Cavill?
He's been doing stuff like that. That's the reason... that was one of the reasons why they had to digitally remove his mustache.
What?
During the reshoots of Justice League, because he was doing another movie.
Oh, I didn't know they had to digitally remove his mustache.
And then he also did the movie Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Okay.
He's been doing stuff too. I think I saw him on other stuff. So he's working. He's not American, so They can do other
Where's
stuff.
Where's he from?
I think he's from the UK.
Oh, that's where like a lot of the actors now are coming.
All these
from.
Americans are UK people, right?
No, they're all coming from UK and Australia. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch of them.
Because Americans, man, no one wants to see it. Apparently, they can do American better than Americans can do that.
Even like Nashville.
Yeah.
They can do like country music better than us Americans.
So I feel like that's the one up that DC would have is they have. Actually, if there's the one thing I'm actually more excited about is because like you got the Infinity Gauntlet, and now we're hearing stories about like. like Marvel and like doing their bit, but like it still doesn't really connect super much with me because it always every one of those movies I feel like is still trying so hard to be like to like legit to make to legitify or to make themselves like mean something, I guess.
I always I know I don't really have a connection of like Marvel or DC. You must choose. Like I don't really have that, but I do always like the original Spider-Man of Tobey Maguire, and that's like all those Marvel's things and Guardians of the Galaxies. I feel like they're a little bit more lighthearted, where sometimes like DC can be a little bit more serious.
Well, it's definitely you're playing with gods in the DC world. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're working with mythology. I always felt like that's the difference between Marvel and DC. DC, you're working with like these myths and these gods, and then in Marvel, you're working with magazines. You know what I mean? Like you're just the Entertainment Weekly of comic books and stuff like that. The other ones are reading myths from the back in the day. It's
an interesting way to look at it.
But yeah, I feel like the one thing that rises above that is right now is Gal, But it is really cool to see her connect with all those with like the kids and the crying but also it's really cool to see how she handles that too. Like it's almost like she just knows how to handle that. That's the most amazing thing. But I don't know. Can you name anything from Marvel that's equivalent to Gal?
Wonder Woman?
To Gal? Like pretty much they made with Wonder Woman also made a new star. Was there anyone in Marvel that made a new star? I mean, they brought back.
But not even like a giant A-lister star is like even at.
They like created an A-list star
at her level.
But like Marvel, they reignited like I think Marvel like would use A-list people, but they never made someone A-list. I'm trying to think if they have not or not, but because they got the Lokis and the Doctor Strange and the Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. I think that's what made them cool is because like now it's like all these A-list stars are now on here too,
Yeah.
But then on DC is finding like these unknowns.
But how ballsy is it to hire an unknown for some properties like that though? Sometimes I feel like because they don't have any name value to them yet.
But I feel like you have to because you already have name value. It's like, well, now he's Superman. Now he's Wonder Woman. You can't think of them as anything else. Because now, like all these other guys on Marvel's side, because Black Panther is always going to be James Brown to me.
It is interesting. Like the more movies you watch, the more faces you recognize, even like character actors. And then sometimes, in a way, it ruins things to know that it's like, oh man, that person's in it, and then you just start thinking about other movies that person's in.
Yeah.
And I don't like it when it takes you out. So I feel like the actor's life is kind of hard because even if you get those big time parts, you're still like known for. And the worst offense to that is if you're watching a film and then you just think about their private life.
Absolutely. To me, that's the worst.
Because and like mentally, you're not trying to. You know how like when you're at a grocery store and you see like Star magazine or something?
Yeah. You're
like not trying to look at it. Like you're like, I don't want tabloid stuff in my mind, but yet you're just staring at it. So you have to like face it, It's one of those things that just comes to you. Like a Kardashian. You're like, I could care less about them, but yet I know like one of them's name is like Chloe and Courtney or something, and I can't tell you about them, but I know their names, and it's like why is that in my brain? But whereas like if you're watching a film and then you just see like, I don't know what the good example would be, but you just see like Brad Pitt and you're just like, oh man, he's getting divorced from Angelina Jolie, and like you're not even watching the film and you're just like thinking about the stuff like that. That's like the worst.
That's why if you think about like Charlize Theron, like she works her ass off, because like literally one of the most beautiful people in the world, and she has to work against that.
Yeah.
Like every single time. That's how she got the Oscar. she fought against that. But every single time, she always has to like fight against Charlize.
She has to fight against being beautiful.
And being like, yeah.
But then also being so beautiful.
Yeah. So you saw...
Life must be hard.
You saw... what did you see today?
I saw Shape of Water.
Would you like to give your review of that here? Without giving anything away?
Well, I can say I liked it. See, that's the thing about like these whole reviews, because I really don't... I want like people to see things for themselves. But I can say like I'm happy with it. Is Del Toro.
Were you a Del Toro fan?
Yes. I mean, I liked Hellboy. I think he's like a pretty awesome visionary. And there's definitely like moments where like I know there's some of films that of his like especially early on that are more like horror, would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's definitely some moments in there where I was like, "Oh my god, that's creepy."
Which is unique because people thought that when he did Hellboy that there would be more horror. Mm-hmm. Because he started with like Mimic was horror, you know, the I forget the other ones. Devil's Backbone, they're all like horror movies.
Yeah, so like, you know,
Blade was horror. Why was Hellboy not horror, right?
Ultimately, I'll say Shape of Water is like a romance, but there are
It's not a horror movie?
But I'm getting at that. But there are definitely a few scenes that happen that I was like, "Oh my god, that's horrific."
It's cool because Del Toro always has that. But it's
kind of like a cool surprise to be like, wow, he's really doing that.
Like Del Toro sort of has that fantasy,
gruesome fantasy.
Yeah, like this gore fantasy. Because even in the what's it called? What's not the vampire? It was the ghost one that we saw.
The one of Loki.
Yeah,
something about red, crimson. I feel like I'm playing Pictionary.
Crimson Red.
Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember in that one, I was like, oh, it's not gonna be so. It's not gonna be so gory. And then like the dude like smashed the guy's face into like the sink and like smashed his head open. I was like, oh, what is that?
I mean, I won't say there's a scene that's like that, but there is a moment or two where it's like, oh,
but even in Pan's,
we're going there.
Remember, even in Pan's Labyrinth when they cut the dude's face, you're like, what? Like you remember, like they cut his mouth wider. Mm-hmm. Like he always has something that's like gruesome like that.
Yeah, there was definitely some moments like that where it was like, oh, all right, just watched that, you know, like. And there was one moment where I actually did watch it, but you know how I watched 127 Hours where he cut his arm off, like with like my hair in my face, just to like shield 80% of my vision.
Is it that brutal?
No, but you know when you close your eyes like slither, like just to look through like
a squint or something.
Squint, yeah. I did a little squint during one part of it because I wanted to see it. I didn't want to close my eyes all the way, but I squinted and I was like, like that.
Was there a lot of people there that enjoyed it?
There were a lot of people there. I didn't look behind me, but definitely people came kind of last minute like they didn't watch the previews and came right in.
Like came right when the door was open, the movie was starting?
Yeah. And which was kind of annoying because I was like, because at that point the theater already turned down the lights so you couldn't see where the aisles were. So if somebody didn't know what their ticket was, like I saw people scurrying around. I was like, dude,
so scurrying around.
Try to like get here on time, you know?
You're like, I know it's reserved seating, but at least get here right at the moment.
Like anyway.
Because this movie's not even that wide release though, so you're one of the first people in our side of the world to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I enjoyed it.
Was the guy like Abe? Because I know you're like, he's like Abe.
Well, it's funny because during the credits, what's his name in real life? The actor, do you know?
Abe? Who plays Abe?
Yeah.
I don't. What? I know. I didn't. I forget his name, but I know that's a dude.
If I saw it on there, okay, I saw it. It said like the credit literally said, "Oh, it's Doug Jones."
Okay, Doug Jones. The credit who plays Abe in Hellboy.
The credit literally said, "Amphibian Man, Doug Jones." So I was like, "Oh, it is Abe."
It is Abe.
But like technically, I have heard Del Toro on Twitter a while ago was like, it's not Abe, you know, stop asking or something. Like he was basically like he basically said something like that. Like
he's the most poetic guy. Like the way that Del Toro describes things are so beautiful, so just almost written with angels' wings. It's like how it's like, but then the things he makes are so dark and menacing and beautiful and poetic. Like he has such a great balance between that. I think because he loves those early Universal horror stories, like with the Wolfman and those monsters, where he balances the heart and the scare.
Yes.
And the horror. So
that's definitely what Shape of Water was. And it had a good balance of everything. And it's not completely frightening where like you should be scared off. But it's more like, oh, that was a cool scare. Like a cool little scare in the midst of like a romance. And definitely some really good acting going on. Like, do you want me to, is it a spoiler to even like say who's in the film? Because I didn't know some of these people were even in the film.
What do you mean, like the actors playing in the film?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
Because for some people it might be. But do you know who's in it? Because I don't want to spoil it for you.
I think I know who's in it. I bet when people can look it up online, they'll see who's in it.
Well, yeah, definitely. But I was like, oh, that person's in it. Oh, okay, cool. And then, yeah, it was a good time. It was actually like very much what I expected, but it's also like the unexpected.
Yeah.
Because of course, it's a romance between a lady and a fish man. I mean, that's really like.
It's perfect.
If you like that premise, then go see it.
If you want to see that, like a romance between a human and amphibian.
Yeah.
This is the movie for you.
It's for you, man.
And if you like your horror with heart.
If you like fish fetishes and horror with heart, it's the perfect film.
There you go. And there's the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we're doing it. December 11th edition of Podcember, brought to you by Carolyn and Joe Show. Wow. We're in it. We're in it.
We're in it to win it.
We're in it to win it. This show is brought to you by StraightProductions.com. This show is brought to you by Straight Productions. Check out their work at StraightProductions.com. Check out my work at JoeCarbello.com. Also, GoStraight.tumblr.com. Also, find me on all the socials at AstrayJ and at JoeCarbello_photography. What about you, Carolyn?
Yes, I am at www.carolynbalevsky.com. Check out my portfolio site. I have lots of design, illustration, comics, lots of cool stuff out there. And also, I'm on the socials. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You can check me out at Carolyn Balevsky.
Fabulous.
Yes. It's just as easy as Googling my name.
That's right. A fabulous, fabulous way to do that. Of course, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and of course our website, CarolynandJoeShow.com. And this is how it's going to be.
And if you like the show, comment on Twitter. You can comment on Twitter as well. Yeah. But Instagram, Stitcher, iTunes, let people know about the show, and that will help get the word out.
And we'll see you tomorrow, because we're doing this every day until 2018. Feel free to ask us questions on the Facebook live stream, drop us a DM, and of course, like always, my name is Joe.
And I'm Carolyn.
Be excellent to each other.
You're bona fide.